Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this evening session. Today I'm going to be doing an informative speech entitled Understanding the Communication Process. I chose this topic specifically for this group because I wanted to inform you of the communication process. The communication process, once understood by individuals, positively influence one life and bring about change in the way one interacts. Communication. What is communication? Communication is the process of sharing yourself both verbally and non-verbally in such a way that the other persons both accept and understand what you have said. What does this process involve? The process involves an encoder, that's the speaker, that's the one bringing forth the message. It involves a channel or a medium. It involves a decoder, that's the listener, that's the person that listens to the message. All this information goes around in a circle, creating a cycle. It must be noted that if there is no feedback, there is no communication. Elements of communication. 1. Speaker, the sender, encoder, or source of the message. 2. Message, ideas communicated verbally and non-verbally. 3. The listener, the receiver or the decoder of the message. 4. Feedback, the verbal or non-verbal response between communication. Example, question, asked. 5. The channel, the way messages are sent. Email, text, letter, etc. 6. The environment, the physical setting for communication. Maybe the conference room, maybe the stadium. 7. Noise, anything that distracts effective communication. You may have a jackhammer working on a construction site, you may have individuals talking while a speech is going on, or you may have loud music. All these things are considered as noise. The importance of communication. Communication is important for the job market, for communicating internally and externally with customers. 2, for presentation purposes, like what I'm doing right now, for the marriage life, and for the entire family. Factors that create barriers in communication. We have cultural background, belief, color of skin, personality styles. As it relates to the personality styles, there are 4 basic personality styles. We have the relators, the thinkers, the socializers, and the directors. Each of these personalities receive information differently. So it is important to know that when communicating, when doing speeches, that you tailor your speech to accommodate these different personalities, as a mental barrier may be set up in the individual's minds. The 4 personality styles can be further broken down into 2 groups, which are introverts and extroverts. Introverts are very private individuals, whereas extroverts are outgoing and very friendly. The key point I would like to leave with you all today is how do we communicate? Research has shown that 7% of your total communication is content, whereas 38% of your total communication is your tone, the tone of voice that I'm using right now. But here it is, 55% of your total communication deals with your body language and your body cues. So it is very important that when you're communicating that you be mindful of your body language. Practice in front of a mirror and be mindful of your body language. In conclusion, after defining, listening and discussing the topics concerning communication, which involve the elements, personalities, factors that affect the process of communication, I can safely conclude that the communication process is very complex, yet simple if you understand the concepts. Information for this speech was taken from So You're Getting Married by Dr. H. Norman Wright, 4 Personality Styles by Dr. Tony Alexandra, Master in Public Speaking by George L. Grace and John F. Skinner. I want to thank you. You have been a wonderful audience today. Thank you. I'll just entertain one question from the audience at this point in time. Ask what?
How does different culture affect communication?
Different culture affects communication in that, based on that person's cultural background, their beliefs, how they were brought up, they would tend to have value system according to how they do certain things. For example, like cooking. They may turn down their pot when they finish cooking. You may prefer to leave your pot up. If you're communicating to a person, being aware of that cultural differences, you need to adjust your speech to tailor so that they will be able to understand what you're saying. As if not, they will tune off and create a mental barrier in terms of listening to you. Okay, based on the time that we have right now, I can take our next question. One more question. Sheena?
The question is towards the personality types. Are there any set guidelines for communicating with persons with different personality styles?
There's a profile for each personality, like a relator. Relators are very easygoing people, very soft spoken, they don't want to rock the boat. So when you're dealing with them, you cannot be too rough or harsh, as they may rock their boat a little bit. The thinkers, they like things in a systematic way. 1, 2, 3, where they can follow. If you're not going that way and they're going scatter, they tune off. The socializers, they want excitement. It must be enthusiastic. Yeah? As you lose them. The director, it has to be in order, it has to have the facts right, and you have to stick to it. If you're beating around the bush too much, they get turned off. Come on, let's get it going. Come on. That sort of thing. Alright? At least we have one more question again. One more question from the audience.
It has to do with introverts and extroverts. How do communication affect the different personality types, introvert and extrovert?
It affects them in terms of the way they receive it. You would be having a speech or you're having a discussion, and then you would want to open up. See, let's say I say, Alvin, what do you think about that? And if I do that with an introverted person, I put them on the spot, and then they kind of shy away. So next time you might want to communicate with that person, you may not see them at all. An extrovert, on the other hand, are the more outgoing individuals. Spontaneously, you would ask them a question, and even though they don't know the answer, they will try to at least answer it, because they're that kind of people. They're on the spot, they're kind of on the spot individuals, whereas the introverts are kind of sheltered inside. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.